Natural physics is a concept astrophysicist LeRoy developed that explains in down-to-earth scenarios how the principles of physics could have come about from observing nature. Each episode begins with a scenario, followed by an example to illustrate the application of these principles in futuristic research at the frontiers of science, such as LeRoy's astrophysics doctoral research, and then concludes with an exploration of how these same principles could have very well been used by ancient cultures and civilizations. Mathematics is naturally encountered and incorporated as the exciting and fun tool of science that it is. Science is the window into our amazing world of nature, and mathematics is the tool to open that window. Natural physics encompasses current, futuristic, and ancient physics, and ties them together by the principles of physics that are common threads running throughout each.
Greetings, everyone. I'm LeRoy, and welcome to the Natural Physics Experience, live from Costa Rica. Continuing our dialogue of why Costa Rica is the global leader in sustainability, my guest again is my colleague, Pascale Lefebure. And just in summary, Pascale, my understanding is that our last 5 shows now have been about the crucial possibility of the collapse of our planet Earth's biodiversity. And we talked about how saving the land and the trees can help rescue our biodiversity from collapsing. We talked about how saving the animals can rescue our biodiversity from collapsing. We talked about how getting rid of pollution, pesticides and chemical toxics can also help rescue our planet Earth's biodiversity. Pollution, air pollution, land pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. We talked about all of that. And thanks to you and very popular comedian Remy in France that gave us permission to show his excellent videos, we have tried to put some humor in these very, very serious topics. But his videos definitely get the point across that this is not a laughing matter. And our species, human beings, as well as all the other species on our planet, we are in danger, very serious danger. And so I will hand it off to you, Pascale. I know you and your family, you were traveling around Costa Rica in the forests and the jungles and observing and taking data for your mission here, which is to find out what Costa Rica is doing in terms of sustainability. So I will turn it over to you to pick up where we left off.
Thank you, LeRoy, and thank you for the reminder of the list of causes of the collapse, including also hunting and global warming we have been talking about. So today we're going to talk about the last reason of that tremendous collapse of the biodiversity on Earth. So the last one is come from invasive species. So what is an invasive species? It could be a plant, an insect, or even an animal who appear to be in a place is not supposed to be. So it has been imported. Most of the time, when a species arrives in a new ecosystem, it is not adapted, so it's going to die. But sometimes it's happened the species took advantage of the new ecosystem and instead to disappear. That is going to reproduce and the population is going to grow too much and too fast. And that can be destroying the local new ecosystem. So that's why we are losing so many species due to new species who have been imported in the new area. There is many causes of this kind of importation. This can be due to the transportation, also because we adopt some pets, or because of climate change too. So let's take some example to better understand the situation. For example, we have Asian hornets. It's arrived in Europe, in France, 20 years ago by a container for transportation of item. They didn't find a predator. That's why the hornet is growing so fast. Today, it's spread all over France.
Wow.
And then it start to attack also Spain and Germany and Italy. There is causing 20% of the bee mortality in France currently, because this Asian hornet is attacking the local bee. So the bee is disappearing currently in France, in all over Europe, also due to this new Asian hornet. It's a horrible situation because the Asian hornet do not make the job of pollination, just occasionally and not much compared to the regular bee. So it's terrible, and because it's already spread all over the country, it's difficult to manage the situation now and how we can kill the hornet and not the bee in the same time, because if we are using a chemical, it's probably kills the both. And it's really small. So it's really, really a tremendous situation we are going through. And for now, we don't have a solution. And if the bee disappear or drop too much, there's so many species depend on it, specifically the plants and flower and then insect too. And the species who depend the plants too. So the bee are really an important species. So we should work hard to find a solution because the situation is out of control. So let's continue about the insect situation who impact us every day. We have also the tiger mosquito. He arrived in Europe too due to transportation of exotic plants during the transportation. And he survived. He survived due to the global warming, because now it's not cold enough during the winter to kill the mosquito.
And Pascal, I'm sorry to interject, but one of the things in our previous shows that where we talked about global warming, along with saving the land and the trees and the animals and getting rid of pollution. One thing that really struck me about global warming, you said how due to human activity on planet Earth, the plants get fooled into thinking that springtime has come when it really hasn't. It's because of global warming that they think, oh, it's springtime, time to bloom. And they bloom, but it's not springtime yet, really. So uh, it goes away, the cold weather comes back, and then the real springtime comes, and then they bloom again. But the effort of having to bloom twice is too much for them, and they don't survive, which then affects the insects. Am I correct in what you had said before?
Yeah, so in this situation, the bee are affected by both. First, the tree is going to die due to the global warming itself,
Yes.
lack of water, and the weather during the winter time, and too hot during the summer. So the bee will not have the flower, and the bee have been killed also by the Asian hornets. So the bee is under multiple cause of the threats.
And these Asian hornets got introduced, you said 20 years ago?
Just 20 years
Just
ago.
20 years ago.
And
Wow.
it's causing 20% of the bee mortality in France, just in 20 years. So it's really tremendous situation now.
Wow. That's terrible.
Yeah. So for now, I don't heard about solution. I hope we are working hard on it because it could be a really tremendous collapse and affecting also agriculture and so many wildlife. So and people cannot really act on it. Just if you saw some Asian hornets and you sure it is, yes, you should manage it and make sure to destroy the bee and not let them run away to
Yeah.
protect you local bee because it's spraying in many countries, so it's terrible.
It's
So
impossible.
if you come from Asia, it's not a problem because they are come from there, so it's
Yeah.
not disturbing the ecosystem there. But for the other country, it's a huge problem.
Yeah. How do you reverse that? How do you, I mean, it almost would seem impossible that you can separate the Asian hornets from the rest of the population in that territory and reverse that where they've become dominant the dominant hornet sting in France, and you said Germany as well, and other.
Yeah, it's starting to reach Germany and Spain, and uh, we will have to hunt each nest for sure. And I don't see any chemical who can target only one species because
Exactly.
they are really so close.
Right.
So it's difficult. For the mosquito tiger, they find a solution, a genetic one, to grow a male, sterilized male, and then
Uh-huh.
get them free. So they disturb the reproduction of the mosquito
Okay.
without disturbing the other species. And
Yes.
the one we get free will not reproduce. So the eggs will die. So that's kind of really a biotech solution
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
really
Wow.
a good one because it's not using any chemical to kill the insect and other biodiversity animals. So I think it's a good solution. The efficiency, I'm not sure about it. I think we will have to wait a little bit to see if it's really efficient. And I'm not sure it will help us to get relief about all the mosquito, maybe a part. So it's
Uh-huh.
probably a situation where we can manage the population, but not all of them. So maybe the same thing can be applied for Asian hornet, but I'm not so sure, and it's probably much more difficult to raise Asian hornet compared to mosquito.
Okay.
So I'm really not sure about that.
Wow.
And Asian hornet do not practice much pollination, so it's really a tremendous situation. And mosquito tiger, main point of the situation is because it's pre-disease, like Doug and chikungunya.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
The mosquitoes spread disease
Yes.
who affect human health,
Yes.
like chikungunya and Doug.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So we have to manage the situation with the mosquito, and also because we have a drop of birds. That's also why the mosquito can survive so much, because there's not enough bird to eat them.
Huh.
So
Wow.
it's a whole system. When a part of the system collapse,
The other part.
it's the whole system are collapsing, because
Yes.
it's so many parts of the system is collapsing right now. So all the things is disturbed.
So connected.